And welcome back to the channel. Today we've got our daily college basketball best bets here for Friday, March 14th. Obviously not in the regular setup. Here I am. You can tell we're in Las Vegas, Nevada. If you can guess what hotel I'm in, bonus points for you in the comment section. I think you could probably already see what hotel I'm in. But anyways, say it, I guess, in the comment section down below. We've got 5 daily college basketball best bets for you today. Again, not the normal setup, but it is what it is. We'll have our NBA predictions out later today, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more daily college basketball best bets. Also, make sure to go check out Greedo Plays MMA. That's linked in the description down below. I'm probably just going to do 5 college basketball best bets tomorrow, just because it's not the biggest of slates tomorrow with a lot of these, conference tournaments just going to their championship games tomorrow and potentially Final Fours. So probably just going to do 5 best bets tomorrow, and obviously we will have that out same time tomorrow. And also later today, we are going to be starting our MLB 25 The Show series. That game just came out yesterday. That's not going to affect any of the betting stuff, but that's going to be out in the afternoons at 5 p.m. every day. Anyways, let's get on to the first of our 5 best bets for today. We're going to kick things off in the Mountain West. By the way, positive day yesterday. Let's look to keep building. Our first game today at 11:30. We've got the UCLA Bruins taking on the Wisconsin Badgers. We're going to UCLA. I've been waiting for this spot for quite a bit. Now we're going to finally take it, obviously. UCLA, I believe, is an underdog. Yeah, they're 1.5 point dogs here against Wisconsin, against the Badgers team that is coming off a victory in their first game in the Big 10 tournament, obviously. Yesterday, beating Northwestern by 7 points. An expected outcome, I'm not going to lie. But I think UCLA is the better basketball team. Again, I've been hyping up UCLA all year long. These two teams matched up once in the regular season. It was in Los Angeles, and the Bruins were able to win the game by 2 points. Now I get it, completely different circumstance. Now the game is going to obviously be in Indianapolis. But I think UCLA is the better basketball team between them and Wisconsin. I don't know. For some reason, Wisconsin's never moved me this season. I think they're a good team. They're not a team that I really think is going to make a run at anything. Obviously, yes, they're in the final 8 of the Big Ten at this point. But again, just not a team I'm overly impressed by, if I'm being honest. The 7-point victory over Northwestern is nice, but Northwestern never really a threat, obviously, with the Brooks Barnes injury and Martinelli obviously trying to do his thing. But no one really treated Northwestern as a serious threat. And UCLA, I know they struggled a little bit towards the tail end of the season, but they finished on a 2-game winning streak, beating Northwestern, beating USC. They have the loss to Purdue on the road. A loss at home to Minnesota really sucked, but I've said it all year long with UCLA, and the same point is always going to remain. They have too much talent to not be this good, right? Tyler Bilodeau, sometimes he doesn't have his best nights, but Bilodeau's good. Eric Daly, Sebastian Mack, we love Adai Mara, the big center from Spain, Dylan Andrews, Kobe Johnson, hell, even later Stefanovic, who doesn't always shoot his best. I mean, they've got so many guys on this UCLA Bruins team, and I think they're better than Wisconsin. I know, again, they got Josh Tonge for Wisconsin. He averages 19 points a game. John Blackwell can hoop as well. He's averaging 16. Stephen Crowell, obviously, still on this team as well. Max Clemson, one of their point guards. I just think UCLA is the better basketball team. Wisconsin, they've been winning games all year long, right? They're 24-8, but finishing the regular season, they lost to Michigan State on the road, like expected. Obviously, they go to Minnesota and win. They lose to Penn State on their own court, and they obviously beat Northwestern. The resume doesn't impress me all that much. It really doesn't. Losing at Penn State at the tail end of the season. I mean, Maryland lost on the road, whatever. UCLA lost on the road. Losing to Oregon at home, I get it. The Oregon Ducks beat Indiana yesterday, and potentially, according to ESPN, the Hoosiers are out of the tournament, which I think is absolutely horrible. I think, how the hell are we going to put North Carolina in the tournament over Indiana right now? Someone explain that to me, because I don't get it. We'll see, obviously, how everything goes on Selection Sunday, but I think UCLA is the better basketball team. I think they're better than Wisconsin. I like the shooting. Again, when UCLA is on, they're such a dangerous team to deal with because all their guys on their team can shoot, obviously. Bilodeau, we need to have a big night out of him. Adai Mara needs to play more minutes. That guy is a game changer with his shot blocking ability. I don't know what UCLA is thinking half the time when they don't play Adai Mara big minutes. I'd hope next year in his junior season, he'll only see more of an expanded role. But again, I don't know why that guy doesn't play more minutes for UCLA. There's just too many weapons. Again, Daly, Mack, Sky Clark, Andrews, Johnson, Stefanovic, Bilodeau, Mara. those 7-8 guys, man, that rotation is really nice for UCLA. I've been saying it all year long. I think they're making a push in the tournament. I think they're going to go quite far. Wisconsin's got some guys, don't get me wrong. The all-around better basketball team, personally for me, is UCLA. They haven't played in a while, sure, but Wisconsin was very shaky to finish off the regular season. I expect UCLA to come out with the victory here. UCLA has had a lot of time off. They were dealing with some injuries towards the tail end of the season. Mara was sick for some of the tail end of the year too. I think I'm okay here, honestly, with UCLA. I'm going to take the number 4 seed UCLA Bruins to beat the number 5 seed the Wisconsin Badgers and move on to the semifinals. We are still going to go over every single bracket. Obviously, I can't share my screen with you, obviously, like I do on my regular videos because I'm recording this on a phone. But I'll go through it, and obviously there will be timestamps today. So I don't know if you probably saw that already, but there are timestamps today with the video just because here I am in a hotel room and you can't just skip ahead. So anyways, let's move on to our second game of the day. UCLA money line in the first one. I think we have 5 money lines today. We're not dealing with any spreads. Second game, sticking in the Big Ten, we go to a matchup between Maryland and Illinois at 6:30. We're taking Maryland. So I've been on the record saying I think the Big Ten championship game is going to feature Maryland. I don't know who's going to come out the other side. Michigan State and UCLA, they're right there for me, honestly. I mean, we saw UCLA beat Michigan State earlier in the season in Los Angeles, the Pauley Pavilion. I could see them beating them again in Indianapolis. But what I do know is that Maryland's getting out this side of the bracket. So again, it's Michigan State, Oregon, UCLA, Wisconsin. I'll just say it right now. We'll go over the Big Ten bracket right now. I expect Michigan State to win. I expect UCLA to win. That will be the semifinal matchup tomorrow. The other side of the bracket, Maryland versus Illinois, Michigan versus Purdue. I expect Maryland to win this basketball game, and I expect Michigan. I expect Purdue to win that game. It's not a best bet, so I haven't really thought too much about it. I think Purdue probably beats Michigan. So setting up for Maryland, Purdue tomorrow, and Michigan State versus UCLA tomorrow. Again, who knows who gets out of Michigan State, UCLA? I could see the Bruins doing it, but I think Maryland, regardless, is the best team in their side of the bracket right now. I think they're the best team by far, and I think they beat Illinois. I've faded Illinois quite a bit this season. I'm not going to lie to you, right? We have picked against this squad a lot. And sure, right now they're on a 4-game winning streak. They closed the regular season by winning 3 in a row. They beat Iowa. They beat Michigan. They beat Purdue as well. And then obviously their first game in the Big Ten tournament yesterday, they beat the Iowa Hawkeyes. This was just such an inconsistent team, though, to end the season because before that 3-game winning streak, they lost 3 in a row. Now I get it. They played some great teams, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Duke. But you know who else is a great team? Maryland. Nobody's really talking about Maryland as a serious threat to win the entire thing. This is a great defensive basketball team who can score as well. And the last matchup between the Fighting Illini and Maryland came back on January 23rd. It was won by Maryland by 21 points in Urbana-Champaign. Maryland destroyed them. And obviously, right, Illinois has a potential top 5 pick in the draft this season. We're obviously talking about Jacunius. He's a guy who averages 15.5 points a game, 15, 6, and 5. He's an all-around very good basketball player. Obviously, Tomislav Ivisic, their center as well, who dealt with mono in the middle of the season, but obviously he's back into the swing of things now. Will Riley, Colin Boswell, Trey White, they've got players, obviously, for the Fighting Illini. But if we're talking about Maryland Terrapins basketball, we are mentioning one man and one man only, and obviously they've got other guys, but Derek Queen, man. Derek Queen's an absolute unit down low. This guy's been dominating all season long, averaging 16 and 9. Derek Queen has been maybe the best center in the entire Big Ten this season. I mean, I get it again. You got guys like Goldine, you get Danny Wolf, but man, Derek Queen has been so good this year, and he's the reason, honestly, why this team's where it's at. I mean, yes, Jacoby Gillespie, Rodney Rice, Julian Reese, there's some great players in this team, great guard play on this team. Obviously, Reese is one of their bigs as well. He plays the forward. But man, there are so many good playmakers on this Maryland squad in addition to the already great defense this team has. And again, it all starts with Derek Queen. I'm all over Maryland in this spot, guys. Maryland has lost 1 game since early February, and it was their loss to Michigan State at home by 3 points. As expected, a very defensive matchup that the Spartans ended up winning by 3 points over in College Park. Yes. 3 straight wins, though, for the Terrapins going into this one. Penn State victory, Michigan victory on the road, and beating Northwestern as well, right? They are 1-0 against Illinois this season. Back when Illinois was ranked 17th in the country, Maryland beat them 91-70. I expect the Terrapins to do it again. I think they are better than the Fighting Illini. I think Jacunius does get locked up again. I think he's a great basketball player, but I think the matchup to watch is Derek Queen and Ivisic. I think Derek Queen's much better than Ivisic. Ivisic, again, good basketball player. There's just levels to this game. Derek Queen is on a different level, I think, personally, and I think the Maryland Terrapins win this game. They're, again, just not a team. Yes, we know they're good. I don't think many people are talking about them winning the entire thing. I don't know if they have the long-term, stability to go all the way in this tournament. Not the Big Ten tournament, obviously the NCAA tournament. But we'll see. I really like this team right now, and I think they beat Illinois. Again, we're taking all money lines today. All 5 best bets are money lines. So here's another one. Give me Illinois to lose against Maryland. Illinois right now, the 7 seed, taking on the 2 seed? Yeah, we're going with the higher seed. I don't know why the odds are this close. We're taking Maryland money line to beat the Illinois Fighting Illini, and give me a Final Four tomorrow of Michigan State, UCLA, Maryland, and the Purdue Boilermakers. Let's go on now to our third best bet of the video, and we go now to a matchup in the ACC. So we've got 2 games in the Big Ten, 1 game in the ACC, and then 2 games in the Mountain West to close the night. Another money line spot, 2 ranked squads, just like our last game, but again, like Maryland, I really like the Louisville Cardinals. And I don't know what Cooper Flagg's, I don't know what what his future looks like in this ACC tournament. I think as a precaution, regardless of whatever happens to Cooper Flagg, he's not going to play the rest of the ACC tournament, and we'll probably see him back for the NCAA tournament if he is, eligible to play for the rest of the season. I think it opens the door wide open for Louisville to win this tournament. Now, again, winning the ACC tournament, winning the SEC tournament, winning the Big Ten tournament, for the most part, all these teams that are left, with the exception of a couple teams, obviously still trying to steal a bid, all these teams are in the NCAA tournament anyway, right? That most of them are, except for North Carolina, who's playing Duke today. We'll get to that in a little bit. That's not a best bet, but we'll talk about it some, right? So ultimately, does it really matter to Duke if they win the ACC tourney? No. They'd like to win it, sure, but it's not, it's not the end of the world if they don't get it. I think, again, it's a perfect opportunity for Louisville to still win the tournament. I think it is. I think Louisville is better than Clemson. I've been saying it for a while. I think Louisville is the second best team in the ACC. Ever since I saw this team play SMU earlier this year when they went to Dallas and beat Southern Methodist and beat them down, yeah, I fully bought into the Louisville Cardinals this season. Now, I'll be honest, I was skeptical of Chucky Hepburn at the beginning of the season, right? I mean, I saw Hepburn play last year, obviously, at Wisconsin. I just didn't know if he could lead this team this season. Hepburn's been great, obviously, averaging 16 points a game. And Terrence Edwards has been phenomenal as well with his 16 points a game, too. Louisville finds ways to win, and they can outscore you and easily outscore you. Now, yesterday, very close matchup with the Stanford Cardinal. A lot closer than you wanted. Terrence Edwards with 25 points in that game. Hepburn obviously doing his thing as well. A lot closer of a game than expected against Stanford. But honestly, I mean, I've known how good the Cardinal are. They were just a very underachieving team towards the tail end of the season. I know, again, I hated on Stanford a lot at the beginning of the year. But Maxime Reynaud obviously going to be a surefire second-round pick in the draft this season. They had guys at Stanford this year. I'd like to see them in either the NIT or the Crown this season. I want to see Stanford, get a chance to play in the postseason. But in this matchup, I think Louisville's just better than Clemson. Guys, Louisville hasn't lost a game since February 1st, where they went on the road to Georgia Tech and lost. You go prior to that, I mean, they've lost 2 games all year in the ACC. It's a good basketball team. They lost to Duke on December 8th and Georgia Tech on February 1st. I don't think Louisville gets the recognition they deserve. This is a very good basketball team. It is. And you look at the Clemson Tigers, right, a 27-5 team. They won 18-2 in the conference as well, right? Good team in their own right. Their losses in the ACC were Georgia Tech in triple overtime, and then obviously Louisville at the KFC Young Center in Louisville, Kentucky. So Louisville, again, does have the edge over Clemson in terms of head-to-head this season, and I think they get him again. I get it, Clemson's good. I just don't think they're Louisville good. I don't think they are. Chase Hunter's a good player, averaging 16, right? Ian Shefflin, is the heart of this team, averaging 13 and 9. Shefflin's obviously the guy for the Tigers. Victor Lakin, obviously their center, is averaging 11. Jaden Zachary averages 11 points too. I just like what we have better on Louisville. They managed fine in that first matchup against the Bigs. Right? I mean, sometimes you will worry about, okay, the presence that Shefflin can have. Chase Hunter, obviously, he's going to score, he's going to shoot, but what will happen, with Shefflin, with Victor Lakin, but they got shut down in that first game. I mean, Shefflin only 10 points, 5 of 7 shooting, 10 boards. Lakin 2 for 9 from the field, 7 points. I mean, Louisville managed them pretty fine. And, in that game, I don't even think Chucky Hepburn had a big night. Chucky Hepburn went 1 for 10 in the first matchup, 1 for 6 from beyond the arc. Terrence Edwards had 5 points, 1 for 7 from the three-point line, 2 for 11 from the field. It was Javon Hadley in that game who scored 32 and obviously propelled the Cardinals to victory. So in a game where Edwards and Hepburn played that poorly, and again, we don't expect Hadley to do that every single night, but in a game where their two best guys played that badly, Louisville was still able to win. So why don't we think they're going to, I think it's pretty clear that they're going to beat Clemson again. Obviously, neutral site game now, right, with the initial matchup being in Louisville. Now, obviously, the entire ACC tournament is in Charlotte, North Carolina. A closer game for, Clemson just going up north, but not by much. It's not like Clemson's going to have a crazy home court advantage in this one. I'm sure most of the people at the ACC tournament today are just for Duke and North Carolina. I'm taking Louisville. Obviously, this is a matchup that might get swept under the rug a little bit today just because of how big Duke, North Carolina is for potentially the Tar Heels to get into the tournament. But I'm all over Louisville. They're the better basketball team. Chucky Hepburn, Terrence Edwards are not going to replicate the performance they had in the first matchup against Clemson this season. And oh, by the way, they still won that first game by 10 points. We're taking the Louisville Cardinals to beat the Clemson Tigers. Again, straight money line for this game. Give me Louisville. We look at, again, the Final Four of the ACC tourney. Duke, North Carolina on one side of the bracket. Duke's going to obliterate that basketball team. Cooper Flag or not, Duke is still going to win that game. Guys, North Carolina went on stretches yesterday where they beat Wake Forest, sure. They went on stretches where they wouldn't score for 5 minutes or they wouldn't get a field goal in 5 minutes. They just get sent to the line. If the refs don't bail them out on every occasion today, they're not going to beat Duke. Okay, North Carolina is going to get blown out, and they're going to get sent right to the Crown or the NIT. I don't know which one they're going to go to, right? They're going to get sent right to that, and hopefully, the Indiana Hoosiers get bumped back into the tournament. But now, unfortunately, I can't say that they deserve to get in over Texas because Texas just won again yesterday. So, I don't know. I'm starting to lose hope that Indiana's actually going to get in the tournament. They should have beat Oregon, man. Just disgusting. It was a close game until late in the second half. Oh, Oregon just pulls away again. I was like half sleeping watching that game, but still, man, God, lost to them again. It's just disappointing. Disappointing is an understatement for Indiana, but it is what it is. Let's go on now to our fourth best bet of the video. We go to the Mountain West. Obviously, we're gonna finish the day with 2 Mountain West games, and then again, I'll go over every single tournament real quickly at the end of the video. First game in the Mountain West. There's only 2 today, so we're gonna do both of them. Boise State versus New Mexico. Again, should be to the surprise of absolutely nobody. If you've watched the channel before, you know the teams I really like. We like UCLA a lot. We like New Mexico a lot. Those are really the top 2. We picked San Jose State quite a bit this season. Obviously, they got eliminated yesterday by New Mexico. All right. Oh, Norfolk State. We love Norfolk State too. Norfolk State, again, they're going to upset someone. All right. I'm keeping that a thing too. Just save this from Norfolk State as a 15 seed goes and beats a number 2 seed this season. Just wait. Anyways, I like New Mexico to beat Boise. I don't understand the odds. I was expecting they were going to be 2.5, 3.5 point favorites. They're even. Come on now. I don't understand. Yeah, they went to Boise and lost, but when they played them in the pit, they won by 19 points. Neutral site, guys, New Mexico is levels better than Boise State. Trust me, levels ahead of the Boise State Broncos. They're the much better basketball team. The second matchup, it was difficult, but Donovan Dent had a horrible night. Nelly Jr. Joseph had a horrible night. Those guys aren't going to continue to perform that way. New Mexico is on a quest to win back-to-back Mountain West tournament championships this season. Obviously, they already won the regular season. They know they're in the tournament, but they're trying to make it back-to-back this year in tournament play. And Donovan Dent was spectacular in the San Jose State matchup. 25 points. Nelly Jr. Joseph with 18 rebounds. Again, Jr. Joseph and Donovan Dent are great players in the entire landscape of college basketball, not just in the Mountain West. Those guys are spectacular this season, and they've just been proving that this entire season. Boise obviously led by Tyson Degenhart. They had a very competitive game against San Diego State yesterday, but they ultimately won it. Obviously, we had Boise yesterday, and they won it and covered the 2.5 points. As expected, honestly, Degenhart was not the lead man, and he hasn't been recently. It's been a lot of the shooters on that team. Cardenas was great, 16 points, but hit some really crucial threes in that game. Degenhart went 5 for 12, 14 points, but Alvaro Cardenas, again, hit some big shots. Actually went 4 for 13 from the field, but again, every single shot he takes is from the three-point line. I just don't think Boise's going to be able to compete with New Mexico. Matchup-wise, they don't match up well with New Mexico. Just the way Boise's been playing, they've been kind of playing low-scoring affairs where they kind of just get out of them. That's not going to cut it against New Mexico. It's just not. The game before Colorado State to close out the regular season, Boise scored 73. The game before San Diego State, they scored 73 points against Colorado State. I think in a game that New Mexico, they will run on this team. the San Jose State game wasn't great, but they hadn't played in 6 days, and they came back, beat SJSU, a team that had beat them earlier in the season in San Jose, California. It's a game that, again, New Mexico just needed to get out the way, and they did. They eliminated San Jose State, got him out of there. I fully believe in Donovan Dent, who I think is the best point guard in college basketball this season. I'm not telling you he's going to be the best player in the NBA, obviously, but Donovan Dent is the best point guard in college basketball this season. You can have all your guys. I don't care. I don't care he's not a finalist for the Bob Cousy Award. That's bullcrap. All right, Donovan Dent's elite, man. He really is. That guy can attack the paint. Not the best shooter, but he can hit some big-time shots. He can knock down some big-time shots if you need him to, right? We talk about the supporting cast, right? Nelly Jr. Joseph, the center, obviously. And then there's everybody else, right? True Washington, CJ Noland, Borichavin, Mustafa Amazil, very shaky. There's guys, right? Jovan Milicevic, the freshman. There's players on New Mexico. I think they're the all-around better team than Boise, who kind of just has been chucking up shots in their last couple of games. And sure, it beat San Diego State, but the Aztecs were so bad offensively in that game. It's not really like Boise even played a tremendous defensive game. I really don't think they did. I just think San Diego State sucked that much offensively. So that's obviously why Boise won. If they continue to play the way they've been playing offensively tonight against New Mexico, against the Lobos are going to absolutely destroy them. Again, Dejan with his 12 points, not going to cut it. And yeah, Cardenas, again, he had his 16, but he went 4 for 13 from beyond the arc. Sure, some of his shots were huge, big time shots, and in terms of where they were at in the game. But man, it's just that percentage shooting wise is not going to cut it. New Mexico's the better basketball team. They're 1-1 this season. Now, obviously, you get a neutral site here in Las Vegas. I'm taking New Mexico to win the basketball game. Straight money line, obviously. We get about even odds. Give me the New Mexico Lobos to beat the Boise State Broncos. We're not done in the Mountain West, obviously, because we have the nightcap in the Mountain West. 9 o'clock start time out here in Vegas. The Colorado State Rams take on the Utah State Aggies. I'm going with Colorado State. I think Colorado State's better than Utah State. The way both these teams are playing right now, I'm taking the Rams. Colorado State has not lost since that first matchup against Utah State. But what happened the second time they played, once they played in, I don't know what city Colorado State's in, I'm going to be honest with you. But when they played in Colorado, Colorado State won that game by 27 points, I think. 27 points. They blew that team out 93-66. It was not a competitive basketball game. Utah State's not playing their best ball right now. I thought there was a chance they were going to lose yesterday to UNLV. It was the nightcap, obviously, in Vegas. They had to play UNLV, obviously, in Las Vegas, and they beat the Running Rebels by 12 points. Nothing I'm not surprised by. I just thought UNLV might be able to give them a challenge, and they did, but obviously the Aggies pulled away like they're supposed to. But that last matchup they played against Colorado State wasn't competitive, and the Rams don't get talked about as a serious, team in the tournament, at least just making the tournament, because of their horrible non-conference record. We went over it yesterday, but right, they lose that cesspool in UC Riverside, who got eliminated by Poly yesterday. We threw a party. That's why I'm in Vegas, to celebrate, obviously. I'm kidding, but the Washington game, they lost. Colorado State loses to Colorado. VCU, I know it's a good team, but still, they just not have a good non-conference record. They went into Mountain West play, 7-6? So obviously, unless they win this tournament outright, they're probably not getting the tournament. Even if they beat Utah State today and then just lose to New Mexico in the championship game, I still don't think Colorado State's getting in. I don't think they have the resume. They're a A1 NIT team, don't get me wrong. They'd probably be a 1 seed in the NIT, but I just don't think they're a tournament team unless they can win back-to-back games. But man, Colorado State's been playing great ball recently, and that has to be credited to Nick Clifford. Clifford's been great, man. He's putting up 20 points every single night, 20 plus points a night. And Clifford doesn't get talked about the player that he is, and I feel like that's the way for a lot of Mountain West guys. The Mountain West is so talent heavy, man. There's so many good basketball players in the Mountain West. Clifford this year, 18.5 points, 10 boards a game. Jalen Lake, Kyan Evans. There's some really good basketball players on Colorado State that just don't get talked about because they are Colorado State. They're not one of these teams that were projected to be crazy in the Mountain West this season, like the teams obviously we expected. New Mexico, Boise, Nevada was supposed to be good. Utah State, right? UNLV was even projected to be better than Colorado State this season, right? No one really expected this performance of the Rams, especially after their non-conference year. But man, I think they beat Utah State again. I still don't think Utah State's playing their best basketball. Back-to-back victories over Air Force and UNLV do not move me. They just don't. And come on, Air Force is horrible, obviously, and UNLV's UNLV, right? UNLV was very mid towards the end of the season. And there's just, I don't know, a lack of consistency out there, top guys. Obviously, Ian Martinez, Mason Falstaff, those are the best guys, obviously, on Utah State. But man, I don't think they're playing like they did at the beginning of the season. Right now, yeah, I think Colorado State's the better basketball team. We saw that in the second matchup that they played. Colorado State ran them out the building. I get it, neutral site this time, but I'm still taking Colorado State to go out here and beat this squad. Colorado State picked up their first victory in the Mountain West tournament yesterday. They beat Nevada, right? That's a tricky team. They beat by 8 points, right? Nick Davidson and the guys of the Wolfpack, again, a team that was projected to be much better than Colorado State coming into the season. The Rams found a way to win, 67-59. Again, Colorado State just finds ways to win. Sure, their record overall might not be as good as the Aggies, right? Utah State's 26-6, Colorado State's 23-9. But I'm taking the Rams still to win this basketball game like they've been doing all season long. I think they find a way. And of course, that all has to be credited to Neat Clifford, who put up 36 points in their win on the road at Boise to close Mountain West play in the regular season. And then 25, 14, and 4 yesterday in the victory over Nevada. Again, Neat Clifford does it all for the Colorado State Rams, and he's going to continue to do that tonight. Give me Colorado State to beat Utah State. Again, we said 5 games, 5 money lines. There they are. I do have an additional parlay. Now with these games, I'll talk about it very quickly, obviously, when we get over the tournaments. The first 2 tournaments I'm going to talk about, and I'll give you that quick parlay. But again, these are the 5 best bets for today, as we will now go over the tournaments very quickly. Again, you cannot see my screen, so again, I'll just talk about them real quick. Mountain West tourney we just went over. I still think New Mexico's winning. Here's the first leg of our 2-leg parlay, our bonus play today in the SWAC. Final 4, the 8-seed Grambling State takes on the 5-seed Alabama State, guys. This is where the Grambling State run comes to an end. It's been a great effort, but Alabama State money line is the first leg of the parlay. We'll get to the second leg in a second. Other part of the SWAC tourney, Jackson State, Bethune-Cookman. I think Jackson State's the better team. Jackson State and Alabama State, good game in the championship, I think it will be. I think that'll be a good game tomorrow. I'd lean Jackson State, but I could see Alabama State winning it too. But the first leg of the parlay, right, is Alabama State money line. Okay, second leg of the parlay. We go to the A10. Again, I don't follow the A10 that much, but I feel pretty good about this. George Mason money line over George Washington. I like the Revolutionaries a lot. They're just not good enough to beat George Mason, right? They're not going to beat them in this third matchup. I think George Mason gets them fairly easily. They're the 2 seed in this tournament. It's their first tournament game on the USA Network. George Washington's coming off a victory yesterday over Fordham. George Mason should be able to pull that one out. The other games in the A10, VCU St. Bonnie's, VCU should win. Loyola Chicago, St. Louis, could see it going either way. I'll lean Loyola Chicago. Dayton, St. Joseph's. Shout out to, again, the Eagle or the Falcon who always flaps his wings all game. I can honestly see St. Joseph's beating Dayton. I don't like Dayton this year. I still think VCU George Mason championship game with VCU winning and obviously no 2-bid A10. So anyways, let's move on to our next tournament. We go to the Conference USA. Down to 4, right? Liberty, Kennesaw State, Jacksonville State, Middle Tennessee. It's the top 4 teams in the tournament, obviously seeding-wise, and they're the final 4 teams. I mean, that's fine. I've always said Liberty's going to win the tournament. Nothing's changed. Liberty beat UTEP by 21 points. Kennesaw just got by New Mexico State yesterday. Liberty's the better basketball team, and that should be the surprise of absolutely nobody. On the other side of the bracket, Jacksonville State, Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee played a double overtime game where they beat Louisiana Tech. I don't know. I don't think the Gamecocks are good. I really don't think they are. Jacksonville State screwed us a lot at the beginning of the season, and we, went off of them, obviously. I'll go Middle Tennessee. But I think, again, regardless of who gets out that Jacksonville State MTSU game, the Flames are 100% winning this tournament. They've been here before. They've been to the tournament many years. And I'm taking the Flames, obviously, to win the CUSA. Next up, the American Athletic Conference, the AAAC, down to 8, Memphis, Wichita State, Memphis, Tulane, FAU. Probably going to go FAU after their win over Charlotte yesterday. North Texas versus Tulsa. Give me North Texas. UAB, East Carolina, UAB. I still think UAB Memphis championship game. Yes, I think UAB beats the Mean Green, but ultimately 100% right. We're going with Memphis to win the entire thing in the American Athletic Conference. To the Southeastern Conference. We're down to 8, obviously, and Texas has played their way into the NCAA tournament. I think regardless of what happens today against Tennessee, I think Texas is in. 100% I think they're in because of their back-to-back wins over Vandy and then Texas A&M yesterday. Ole Miss beat Arkansas, so they get Auburn today. They're going to get slaughtered. Texas, Tennessee, I will take Tennessee. But I think Texas, again, has been playing great basketball, and they've worked their way 100% in the tournament with Trey Johnson and company. Florida, Missouri, I told you Mississippi State sucked. Mississippi State is a 100% first-round exit in the tournament, and nobody's telling me otherwise. I like Josh Hubbard, but that team is not good. They are losing in their first game in the tournament. I don't care who they're playing. They're losing. Missouri's playing Florida today. Florida's winning. Alabama, Kentucky, Otega Owe, and Kentucky barely got out the game yesterday. Oklahoma arguably could have won. Obviously, could have won that game at the end. Bama should win. I think all the higher seeds in the SEC win today. So Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, Bama. I still like an all Alabama championship game with Auburn and Bama, but we'll see. Obviously, as this keeps on going. To the Mid-American, right? I mean, we're down to 4 here. Akron, is by far the best team in the conference. They beat Bowling Green by 29 points. Okay, they're the best squad, obviously. Toledo got by Ohio. Kent State beat Western Michigan like we told you was going to happen, and Miami beat East Michigan as well. Again, I've been saying it. Conference championship game is going to be Akron, Kent State. 2 best teams in the preseason, I thought. Still the 2 best teams, I think, personally. And Akron goes to the tournament. Smallest team in college basketball, they're still going to continue to find ways to win. MEAC. Again, we are all over Norfolk State. I've been saying it since the beginning of the season. Brian Moore and Norfolk State is the best team in the MEAC, and they're going to give somebody trouble as a 15 seed in the NCAA tournament. They're beating Morgan State today, who we thought was going to beat Howard, and they did by 1 point. The only upset yesterday was, I guess Morgan State was kind of an upset. South Carolina State beat Coppin State, close game, and NC Central actually beat Delaware State. I could see them doing it again, honestly. I don't really care who wins North Carolina Central and South Carolina State, because whoever wins is 100% losing to Norfolk tomorrow. So give me Norfolk to win the entire thing. I don't care who gets out the other game. Okay, it'll probably be South Carolina State, but NC Central might pull it off. Who knows? MAAC. I mean, what did I tell you about Marist, guys? Marist sucks. Every game, Marist was the Mount was plus 150 yesterday. I didn't even take the points. I was like, all right, straight money line, easy. It's ridiculous. I don't get it. I don't know what the books are watching with Marist. They are horrible. They're the worst basketball team ever. And what happened? Obviously, the Mount got them easily. I hope Marist is in the CBA so we can fade him. So shout out to the Mount. They're here against Merrimack, who just played an overtime game over Sacred Heart where they won. I think the Mount beats Merrimack. I still think Quinnipiac wins the entire thing. We thought Iona was going to beat Manhattan. They did. I think Iona gives Quinnipiac a fight today, but I do still think Quinnipiac versus the Mount in the MAAC championship. To the Big East, right? I mean, we're down to 4 here. Creighton with the double overtime victory over DePaul. I mean, what hell of a time to finally show up for DePaul. So Creighton gets UConn today. I told you Nova was going nowhere, and obviously that's what happened. UConn beat them. UConn's going to beat Creighton today. I think so. Dan Hurley in March, tough to beat. St. John's Marquette, shout out to Marquette beating Xavier yesterday. Xavier with a bullcrap 3 at the end to cover 2.5, whatever. St. John's will beat Marquette, though, setting up for Patino versus Hurley in the championship. My goodness. I still think St. John's wins, though. To the WAC, we're down to 4, right? Told you Seattle was going to beat Abilene Christian. Utah Valley beats Utah Tech. Utah Valley's only a 1.5-point favorite today against Seattle. Thought about including it, but guys, Seattle U's not bad. They would not surprise me at all if they beat Utah Valley today in Vegas. Grand Canyon, Cal Baptist, that should be a one-sided beatdown for the Lopes. We'll see what happens with the Utah Valley Seattle game. I could really see it going either way, but I do think Utah Valley still gets it. Regardless of who gets out that game, though, the Lopes are winning the WAC this season. And our final tournament, had to save it for last, the Big West. The other tournament here in Vegas. 2 upsets yesterday, right? UCSB beat Cal State Northridge. I didn't see that one coming, and I told you Cal Poly was beating UC Riverside. So be gone, cesspool. Shout out to Cal Poly cashing yesterday, plus 165, plus 180, I think we had him as. Great win yesterday for the Mustangs. It comes to an end tonight, though. UC Irvine's just too good for Cal Poly. I'm really happy for that team. They were dead in the water the last couple of seasons. Now they won back-to-back games in the Big West tournament this year, beating Davis, beating that cesspool over in Riverside. Irvine's getting them tonight. Bent Lightston, Miles Hahn, and the guys, Miles Che, Justin Hahn, I butchered that. They're Devin Tillis. Yeah, UC Irvine's winning tonight. I could see UCSB potentially getting Tate Jones and UCSD today. I don't know. I think Santa Barbara could pull off the upset. If I had to bet my life savings, though, yes, UC San Diego still wins. I think UC Santa Barbara, though, gives them a fight. Setting up for Irvine-San Diego championship game. We will 100% have that game featured for you tomorrow. I think Irvine still wins it. We'll see. Give me a 2-bid Big West. I've been campaigning for it all year long. Anyways, folks, that'll do it for our 5 best bets here for Friday, March 14th. If you haven't yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back tomorrow again for more daily college basketball best bets. Folks, thank you for watching, and Mamba forever.